Let's talk about posting a job onto Indeed from scratch. If you have had jobs in the past, then you can say, use a previous job template and that will come in here. You can even search if you've had a lot of jobs. Clearly, we have a lot of different things that you can search by, but I personally just like to always create one from scratch. I think that it is most helpful to do that. So, I'm going to go ahead and put in my title, dental hygienist. I I believe all hygienists are registered. And so, truthfully, I feel like having registered dental hygienists isn't really going to help you. And if you just do, it's not going to help you any more, I should say, than just having a dental hygienist. And if you have somebody in the area who is typing in dental hygienist or registered dental hygienist, your name is still, or your job ad is still going to populate within the algorithm because they typed in dental hygienist, even if they typed in all three words, registered dental hygienist. So hopefully that helps you understand. The number of people that we're going to hire, we're just going to go ahead and hire one. The job location type, this is going to be in person. Now, if you want your job to be um, confidential, then you can say in person within a limited area. You can say in person precise location, and then just not have the exact address on here. So I'm going to type in the um, exact area. Now, sometimes it's a little bit harder for this to come up, and so you might have to type in a few different things in order to get it to work, because this is an asterisk, and sometimes there's a little bit of an error. Now, if you type it all in and it's not working, you can also click on this button and it should allow you to be able to progress forward. Or if that's the case, then you can also do in person within a limited area if it's not allowing your actual city to post. Sometimes it happens. It's a little bit wonky sometimes. Here's a helpful tip. So they are trying their best to give people tips and tricks on what to do and how to do how to get more candidates essentially. Clearly, a dental hygienist assistant is not going to help us. That's not what we want. But if you wanted to, depending on the name, you could go ahead and update your title here if that's a better title that you wish to use for whatever job you're posting. Now this is there's a lot to unpack here. So you can do full-time and part-time if the office is open to, someone being full-time or part-time. This is where you would want to select that. Now keep in mind that all this information is going to show up. So the more buttons that you click, the more information is going to show up once the job is actually posted. So please keep that in mind. So this is not technically Monday through Friday, so I'm going to go ahead and click it off. And there are no nights, there are no weekends, so I'm going to go ahead and leave those on. Sometimes I will be able to have the a dentist button or like other or more, and then I can go into dentist. So we are going to start at 38 and we are going to go to 45 per hour. This will also kind of tell you a little bit about what's going on in your area. It's not always 100% accurate. Indeed, as far as I know, it doesn't inquire on my side at least about what we are going to pay somebody if we hire someone. So the average pay out there, it's just kind of, this is what Indeed is kind of estimating from what the offices around in the area are looking to pay. And so this can help you somewhat. Post-COVID, this tool is less and less accurate because the area is so interesting. Um, But if you're way off, this is something that you can take a look at, or you can look at it yourself and see, oh, well, the average pay might be $34 to $36 an hour, but I see because there's a lot of jobs that are offering starting at, $30 an hour in the area because they are, um, X, Y, and Z kind of a practice or whatever that looks like a Medicaid practice or something along those lines. If they cannot offer the same amount, or state funded, that's what I was thinking, a state funded practice. Um, I'm not going to fill in the fixed hours because this person is able to work full-time or part-time. Now, here are some benefits, and this is also kind of compiling other competitive benefits that the area for dental hygiene posts are going to post on here. So I am going to, since it checks all of these for me, I like to go through my list and make sure that I am doing this with a lot of thought because I don't want to accidentally mislead somebody. So we offer a 401k with a match. We're going to also offer PTO, and there's no button for paid holidays. There's no button for continuing education as well at this time. Sometimes there will be like 50 different benefits to offer, and continuing education will be one that you can click on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do professional development assistance. To me, that's basically the same thing. And then there's nothing in this selection for uniform allowance, which usually if there's like 50 different drop down buttons, there is often a clothing allowance. And then they can offer health insurance, we can offer dental insurance, and if there's anything else that we can do to select, we will select it now. But make sure that you're being truthful. If you think that you could offer a health savings account, which could be pretty easy, that's great. If you have never offered or even looked into life insurance, don't just go ahead and click on things just because you think that somebody might be interested. This is something that candidates are going to be interested in once you get on the phone, and if you don't have answers, it doesn't reflect very positively for you. So, Indeed has generated an AI job description for the dental hygiene position that we have. This is what it thinks that I would like to do. And so I'm finding more and more that people are just leaving these job descriptions. And truthfully, there needs to be a lot edited here. It is decent. I don't love the qualifications because as a hygienist, you already know, what your qualifications need to be for your state typically. So I would say to just completely start from scratch and just go through with the job ad. If you haven't already seen that video, then go ahead and pause this now and watch that. So, sorry, I'm going to paste as plain text. And so I am going to highlight and bold the top hooker questions. And then my about the office is going to be bolded. And I like to just tidy things up here, make it look just a little bit better. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my benefits and highlight, and my coming soon, I'm going to italicize, and my hours, I'm going to bold as well. And I'm going to make this into a separate line for this, and text me at this phone number for any inquiries. And I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. Again, if you have not watched my video for job descriptions, highly recommend for you to do that. Now, I have assistants that are going to help me keep everything in line. And so I'm going to assign Elisa, my team member, to help me with this. You can do that. You don't have to do that. I assume you probably won't. And then please send me an email every single time somebody applies. I would say for a hygiene position, this would be totally fine. My team they're on it. If somebody applies, they have been reached out to within 6 hours or less a lot of times. Um, I so you can leave that on there for hygiene, for associates, for some positions that are a little bit more rare. Go ahead and leave that on there. There's no problem with that at all. Just know that every single day you're going to get a text message, and then also individual people who are applying on there as well. Let potential candidates contact you, absolutely, and please feel free to do so by phone. Ask potential candidates for their resume. I have found, so I had always had, yes, that it's a requirement. For probably 6 to 8 months, I had given an option because I didn't want it to be a barrier for somebody to apply. It is not a barrier, thankfully. I haven't had any issues, and so that's not really anything that you have to worry about. I'm always an advocate of eliminating barriers whenever I possibly can. We are going to require a background check here. I assume that you probably don't want anybody with a criminal record to apply, so I'm not, yeah, I probably would not click on that. The hiring timeline for this job. So if you say 1 to 3 days or 3 to 7 days, it will automatically post this job is urgently hiring. And depending on how you're feeling about that, if it seems too needy, for example, or if it just doesn't feel that you actually are um, hiring urgently, then you can just go ahead and click 1 to 2 weeks. I always do 1 to 2 weeks. It just is a habit of mine because I don't personally really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is where you're going to review all of the information. So company for this job, and you probably won't have this issue because you're only posting it for your own office, but all right, so now this is going to allow me to auto-populate. If I click on Iyazaki DDS, this is going to take and link to her page. Now, I don't know off the top of my head how her Indeed looks. I never want to attach because also I don't know if this Iyazaki is the same one, if it's in the same area, if she has a company profile set up. I don't want to have to redo my Indeed post if it won't allow me to remove that listing or remove that link, I should say. So I will never click onto this. You are welcome to if you know and you are 100% certain that this is accurate in your position. But there's another video that if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I believe it is Indeed company profiles and why yours is important and how to set it up. So if you haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch that one. That is going to be very important in this scenario, and that's explaining why to not click onto that if you are not 100% certain. So then I'm just going to go ahead and double check to make sure. I realized that I didn't click onto full-time and part-time, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now if you wanted to remove the pay option where it just says, it says nothing for the pay, you can go ahead and do that here. And all you have to do is delete the pay, delete the dollars, and it won't reflect anything here. It will completely take it out. Sometimes I will advise offices to not have a top dollar amount because it will allow you to have a range, a starting amount, a maximum amount, an exact amount. And so there's a lot of different things that you can do. Some offices, I will suggest them to say $99 an hour because some candidates still, which it kind of blows my mind, but not everybody has been a hiring manager. Not everybody has gone through the same steps and stages that I have gone through, as well as other people. So some people may see this job and say, well, I want to make $45 an hour. I'm never going to get a raise. This job maxes out at $45 an hour. They may not want to apply to this position because of that. So please keep that in mind, that sometimes I do tell offices, do $38 an hour to $99 an hour, so that they see that there is more earning potential. Now, clearly, you are not going to pay somebody $99 an hour at all, especially if you're going to be starting at $38 an hour. So, a lot of different options here. I have found that it does not really make much of a difference if you completely take the pay away. However, if somebody applies, you get into the interview process, and you then say, well, we have a cap at $45 an hour. We can't go over 45. That's where it may be slightly deceiving, and it will be a waste of your time and their time. So if there is a cap amount, just go ahead and put that on there. If you don't have a cap amount and you're totally fine, there's a lot of options there. All right, and then just scanning through, the benefits are correct. The job description, looking at my other screen, looks like it is the start to be correct, but you can also click on the entirety of it. It's going to be correct. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm. And then qualifications for my job. None of these are qualifications that I want. And I'm going to go ahead and type in hygiene, licensed for registered dental hygienist. And this is going to be required. So one reason why we want this to be required instead of preferred is because people that are not in dentistry will apply to the position. And that is what I see often from offices saying, well, we're getting all of these candidates, but none of them are qualified. So I'm spending all of these ad dollars, and nothing is happening. I don't understand, like, what can I do different? This is one of the main things. Now, if that continues to happen and you're getting candidates to say that they are a registered dental hygienist, and you're having to pay for them, if you pay per candidate, basically, then you can talk to your Indeed rep and say, hey, I got so many of these people, and none of these people are hygienists, but they keep applying. Can I get a refund of X amount of dollars? Or can I get some kind of a credit onto my Indeed? I'm sure that you're not going to get a refund. You're just going to get a credit, but it's something that they can do for you. So, and then ask them too, like, is there anything that I have not done? If you're already on the phone with them, is there anything that I have not done that I should do that would help it, so that I'm not getting just willy-nilly anybody? Save and continue. And then here's some questions for just like initial screening. Are you authorized to work in the United States? Truthfully, we don't have a lot of people in this Lansing area, which is where I'm from, that I would really need to worry about this. I could understand if there's certain areas, maybe in a bigger college town, or a college town that allows people from other countries to go to dental school, for example, or go to another school. This is just not something that we really have to worry about all too much. So I'm just going to completely omit that. Are you willing to relocate, or are you able to commute the distance to this place? We're probably not going to get anybody to relocate. So again, another question that I don't think that we need to have on there. It just is kind of silly. You can ask ahead of time, which is very helpful. Please list 2 to 3 dates and time ranges when you can do an interview. This can be very helpful so that you can see when they're actually free. If they say I'm free all day, every day, is that a red flag for you? Do you want them to be free all day, every day? Are they working and they're free? Or do they just basically want you to leave them a message, and you're going to call them back, or something along those lines? So take that how you want to how you want to take that. Maybe they're not working, maybe they just had a maternity leave, or they just had a surgery, and they just are searching for a new job. So take a look at their resume before you judge too harshly, but there's that too. So I am going to say preferred or excuse me, required for valid hygiene license. Do you have a valid dental license? This often people will assume that it means like a doctor dental license. And so I'm going to go ahead and take that off so that I don't have to worry about that. There's another one. Are you able to reliably commute to Lansing? We should be fine. Skills test. You can go through here and add your own. I used to also think that these skills tests were a barrier to completion, because think about it, there's another 5 minutes that it's going to take, which I know that this is not, we're posting for a hygiene role, but it's just another thing that candidates are going to have to do. And do they want to spend the extra 5 minutes? Are they going to get distracted? Do you have to have this completed before you talk to them? That's you don't really see their details either, and the answers that they give. So it just kind of says like intermediate, beginner, expert level in dental assisting, which it could help in dental assisting, but also Indeed is the one who made the skills test up. So how accurate is it? How great is it? Is that something that you really want to think about? I always take the skills test off. You're welcome to keep it on there if you think that it is necessary. If you need somebody to speak a second language, go ahead and add on here. Do you speak English and Spanish, for example? I would highly recommend to have both of them. We've had a lot of offices where they've asked us to find somebody who speaks English and Spanish. And if we only have, do you speak Spanish on here, we will get candidates to text and call us and they don't speak English, which is not helpful for us because I don't have anybody on the team that speaks Spanish. So keep that in mind if you need both languages to be on here, to make sure that you add those on. Let's see here. Vaccine requirement. I wouldn't necessarily do this for Hep B in whatever you're looking for your practice, or for COVID. I have found that there's a lot of people these days that are looking for positions that, I mean, we haven't required anything with COVID in the last probably 2 years, I would say, but just anything that could be a potential barrier, go ahead and eliminate that if it's not necessarily a hard and fast rule that you guys are going to need. How much experience do you need? How many years do you need? So that's another thing that you can add on in this area as well. And then if it is like 1 year and it is required, then they will automatically be put into the no thanks pile, is what I call them. So they're automatically rejected, and because you haven't they don't have the entire year finished yet, or maybe they're a year and 10 months, and really you can be flexible. If you need somebody for 2 years, you could be flexible if they're at a year and 10 months, but because they're not at 2 years, then maybe you could have eliminated them because you had that as a requirement. So do also go into the rejected candidates as well through your Indeed profile. Now, this is going to be different on my Indeed versus your Indeed, because I have, we call them buckets. I have different amounts of money allocated for each different kind of, job. So you can do a lot of different things here. If you wanted to have a daily budget, you can have that on there. If you wanted it to run continuously, just there's a whole lot of different things that you can do within your sponsored job and how you're going to pay for it. I am not really going to get into that here in this video, but you could either talk with me about that or you can talk with Indeed about that. But ideally, you probably are just going to do like a continuous for like 30 days, for example, which is what we do. We repost all of our job ads for 30 days and then it will restart. And so because this is currently clicked onto, that it's going to go for 30 days, and the most popular is going to be $42. Expedited is going to be $65. I'm going to be spending $1,300. Seems like a lot of money. So that's where you can get a bucket, and you can do a bucket even for one job, and you can set this up in a campaign, or you can talk to your Indeed person. They can help you with it as well. Your Indeed rep, I should say. And you can do it either way. If you wanted to set it up, you're welcome to. I will have another video on what that looks like, how to do it, how to change it, how to edit it. But let's say, for example, you want to spend a max of, $300 per month. Then that is where we can allocate and put your job into that bucket, and you can spend less money on your sponsored job, which is super helpful. And then hmm, my button's gone. Because I've been clicking on other things. So I'm gonna hit save and continue. I will go ahead and edit here in just a little bit, and I'm gonna hit continue again. And now I don't want to show you, that's my little baby. I don't want to show you what the next step is because that will be all of the candidates names that are in the area, and I am not here to out anybody or to talk about them. But what it does look like is it will cycle through typically 20 different individuals, and you will click onto them, and it's just a really, really, really short snippet of what the individual's resume will look like. So it will say like TC hygienist at Dr. Smith's office from 22 to present, for example. And then in the details, it might give more information, like has Dentrix, like they have to click these buttons in order for this information to show up. So somebody might have like TC, RDH, and that's it. That's all you get to see. You don't get to see anything else. You don't know how long they've been a hygienist. You don't know if they're actually a hygienist. It basically gives you so little information. But the reason why Indeed is doing that is because it wants to understand who you want as a hygienist. So if you're really particular with the kind of person that you need, or you need a lot of experience within this role, that is where and there's, unfortunately, it's just a yes or a no button. There's not like a maybe I need more details. I wish there was. I've even suggested that they tell that to their like IT company that they need to give more information, or have a button to say give more information. Um, let's see here. You could also say no due to their location. But because we have so many jobs, it pulls from other locations sometimes, which is a little bit wonky if I were to show that to you. And if you know the area, it wouldn't be always helpful. And so making sure that you're paying attention to those details, because those are the people that Indeed is going to show this ad to. So be very cognizant of that as well. If you've got questions on this, please feel free to let me know. If there was anything I can help you with, let me know. I'm happy to do so. I hope you have a great rest of your day and keep watching more videos. Bye.